If you had the luxury of sitting down with the greatest player of all time, Jack Nicklaus, what would you ask him, or what do you think he would tell you? Well, I luckily did, and I'm going to tell you what he taught me and share with you so that you can hit more stock shots and start lowering your score. So the big question is this: how do passionate golfers like you and I develop a stock shot day in and day out? A stock shot that's as reliable as the sun coming up in the morning. That's the question, and this podcast is the answer. Welcome to Stock Shot Secrets. So one of my dear friends is Larry Csonka. Larry Csonka, if you don't know, he's a Hall of Fame running back. He was at the Miami Dolphins when they went undefeated. Dude was just like a bulldozer going through the O-line into those defenses. And Jack Nicklaus and Larry were really good friends, and essentially what happened to kind of set the stage for this is that Larry Csonka did a favor for Jack Nicklaus, where Jack Nicklaus was supposed to speak at the World Golf Hall of Fame. And he couldn't. Jack Nicklaus had something come up, and he couldn't, but he was in a bind. He's like, hey, Larry, could you please go up to St. Augustine and speak on my behalf? Because Larry kind of lived pretty close. He goes, yes, Jack, I'll do that for you. And they were kind of like fishing buddies. So Jack kind of owed Larry a little bit of a favor for this one time, and by the grace of Jesus, I became that favor. Right, so upon graduating college, I sat down. We had organized a meeting where on Friday the Memorial Tournament, I went to Jack Nicklaus's house and sat there with him for several hours, about 2 hours. And during this time, we're talking, and I'm, obviously I'm in front of the best player of all time. I had just graduated college. I'm getting ready to go into my professional career. And I'd said to him, and I was kind of sharing some of my struggles as a player and how to get better and what to do and all these things. And like many of you guys, right, and this is kind of the onset. I mean, it's in the title of the show, so you guys can almost hear how this originally started. But I sat with him, and he was like, well, what ultimately do you want to do in your game? Tell me a little about your game. And I was like, what I really just want to do is I want to be consistent, right? Like anybody, right? That's the common thing. If someone walks through the golf room, we go, hey, why are you here? They go, because I want to be more consistent. He goes, yeah, but consistency, and he kind of goes in this thing, and he goes, consistency is one thing, but what you really need is you need a stock shot. And I was like, what's that? He goes, like a stock shot, it's a shot that you can always depend upon, and it's this, you're hitting the same shot over and over and over and over again. And if you can do this, you can hit that stock shot under pressure if your heart rate is high, if you feel like you're not hitting it very good, but it's always this dependable shot that you can hit over and over and over again. And I was like, yeah, that would be amazing. So when he does this, he's talking, and he goes, and I kind of had to learn the hard way, because in a U.S. Open, I think it was at Southern Hills, maybe? Don't quote me on that one. But he's like, I was coming down the stretch on hole 16 or 17, and for him, a stock shot was a stock cut. And he goes, there was a back left pin, and I decided to take a 3-wood and try to hit a little draw into it, double cross it, make a bogey or a double, and lose the Open by 1. And at that moment, I made a promise to myself that I will never go against my stock shot, under pressure. And I was like, yeah. So I was like, I need this stock shot. But the problem was, like many of you guys, you kind of go, hey, I want a stock shot. I want to be consistent. I want to hit the same shot over and over and over in the sky and carve the same pattern out time and time and time again, and not play, army golf where some go left, some go right, then I chunk it, then I left, then I right, then I slice, then I draw, then I hook, and it's oh my gosh, what's coming out? And you're standing over your ball, and you're like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Hey guys, I hope you are enjoying this episode of the Stock Shot Secrets podcast. If you are enjoying it, be sure to like this episode, be sure to subscribe so you can always see when they're coming out, and most importantly, if you would be so kind to be able to share this podcast with other passionate golfers who are trying to get better and build stock shots, because it grows through you sharing it. Thank you so much for tuning in, and now back to Stock Shot Secrets. I always find it funny, where someone's if you have a bunker in the middle of the fairway, they go, I'm just going to aim at the bunker because chances are I probably won't hit it there. And I go, no, that's a bad play, right? But it's just because they don't have confidence in the fact of hitting a stock shot. So I was like, I know I need a stock shot. And then, so we're talking about this, and he does it, and I go, well, we didn't get into the tacticals of how to do it, but I go, how do you, what were your things that you would do in your practice to learn how to hit this stock shot? And he goes, well, Kyle, I was really, really good of knowing how to practice by mechanics and then play by feel. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, when I would practice, I was very, very intentional with my practice, right? And this is kind of then, I think I've talked about this in other episodes, but this is where he would then went into the story about how when he would hit balls over 2 hours, he would hit 36 balls in 2 hours. And I was like, 36 balls in 2 hours, man. That's insane. He's like, what do you mean insane? Like, he almost looked at me confused. And I was like, 36 balls in 2 hours. I go, I can't do the math, but that's like a ball every, 4 minutes? And he goes, yeah. He goes, well, Kyle, let me ask you a question. Like, if you go shoot, let's say 70, right? How many full shots do you think you hit? I go, well, let's just say I have 30 putts. I'm probably going to hit 40. And he goes, how long does a round of golf take? I go, I don't know, 4 hours. He goes, so if I hit about 36 balls or 40 balls in 2 hours, I'm going too fast. I'm like, what? That's different, right? Like, that's hard, right? And that's one of the many reasons why he was great, is that he was very methodical in his practice of practicing by mechanics and playing by feel. So he would talk about when he would practice, right? Like, he would be very, very intentional on the things that he was practicing. And this is where you've heard me maybe say in the past where, like, it would be better to do 36 math problems and do them all correctly than 100,000 math problems and they're all wrong. So you have, like, there really is a lot of value in the quality of your practice, right? It's not about the quantity, it's about the quality. And a better quality is better than higher quantity. So when you're practicing by mechanics, that would be like using your noodles, using feedback, right? Like sending in video. Like, we've made it to where, you guys have everything under the sun available to you to get better. You go, I don't know. It's like, okay, well, like, here's a 21-day challenge where I lay out what exactly it is that you need to do in a swing so that you can get better. And then I've created ways to where you can send in videos to coaches to where they can tell you almost nearly instantaneously, this personally is what you need to do. Like, you need to change your wrist, change your grip, swing more from the inside, like set up a noodle like this. This is the feedback station, so that you can essentially not waste any time while practicing. That is what I don't want. You have no time, right? Or limited time. We need to make sure that the 36 balls you hit are the highest quality, and it's not you just being a golf ball whacker guy whacking balls on the range and be like, I'm practicing. I'm like, no. Right? Like, we don't need to practice that much. I practiced last week for 45 minutes, and I was like, that was epic. Like, so much better in just that little tiny 45-minute stretch, right? So then once you're practicing by mechanics, then now a proper swing, this is kind of coming full circle for you. It's a little bit of the origin story, right? So as it comes full circle, we practice by mechanics, we play by feel. So I have to have a proper swing, practice by mechanics, to create a proper feeling. If the swing that you're practicing isn't the correct swing, that's not creating the correct feel. You have to practice perfectly and then create the feeling from the perfect practice. That's the correct feeling. So practice by mechanics, play by feel. So now when I go on the golf course, I'm just paying attention to an intention of sight, taste, touch, smell, and hearing. And a touch could be one of the feelings that I was generating in my perfect practice station. See how this all comes full circle, right? So I need a stock shot. I need to practice by mechanics, play by feel. And if I can do that over and over and over and rinse and repeat, 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 program block, random compete, program block, random compete. Now your swing and your game starts to take shape the same way it took Jack Nicklaus on his way to winning 18 majors. So don't take it from me, just take it from Mr. Nicklaus. Hey guys, thank you so much for listening to the latest episode of Stock Shot Secrets. Now, as a listener of Stock Shot Secrets, I want to make sure that you have the opportunity to get better. So if you were to go to stockshotclub.com, I'm going to give you 7 days free access where you can send us your video and we will give you personalized individual attention as to what you need to do so that you can start building stock shots. So just go to stockshotclub.com and register there. We'll give you 7 days free where you can try it. And then if we like it, you can stay inside the Stock Shot Club where we can become your coach and walk with you for your entire journey. Thank you so much. And be sure to go visit stockshotclub.com.